I tell people that I didn't find insurance, insurance found me. Your problems are not truly unique to you. Like somebody else is going through something similar. That collaboration and community is what's missing a lot of times, especially in the independent space. From the training and mentorship side, I would say the biggest challenge for me is that I can't want it more than the agent wants it that I'm trying to help. We're so quick to tell people what we know, and we're so quick to tell people why they're wrong and why we're right. It's like, man, if you just stop talking, listen to what the other person's trying to say, and internalize it. And you're like, oh, I didn't think about it that way. One of my personal core values is that nobody needs to lose for me to win.
Okay, listeners out there, I'm Carrie Thornbrew. I'm the Customer and Partner Marketing Manager at Canopy Connect. Today, we're talking to Peter Wood of Kraken Insurance. And I'm going to let him introduce himself, kind of just give us a little bit of your background, Peter. What is your role at Kraken? What makes Kraken unique? And how did you kind of get started in the biz?
Absolutely. So thanks for having me. So a little bit about me. I tell people that I didn't find insurance, insurance found me. I was working for, originally it was Icon Office Solutions. It was a big copier company.
What year are we talking?
Gosh, I got into the business in 2013. So this was 2012.
Okay, interesting. Because I was like, oh, making copies. All right. What's our time frame? Okay, cool.
I essentially, without knowing it, I was selling copier insurance, really is what it was. Like, they had a maintenance agreement. So if you owned your own equipment and you wanted us to service it for you and offer supplies, then I wrote you a contract, right? And I did some big clients. I handled everywhere from all of Southern California, San Diego, and Hawaii was all my territory. So I did that for a couple of years, and then they got bought out by one of the vendors that they sold for. They got bought out by Rico. When that happened, we had a team of people. It was like 45 people across the country that did what I did. And then it whittled its way down to 15. And then down to just me. And they kept me on for like an extra 6 months just to train the billing folks a little bit about what we were doing. And when that happened, it was like, oh, I'm probably going to need to find something else to do here because this job is going away. So I put my resume out there on Indeed, and I get this totally cryptic email from this guy that says, hey, for the right person, I've got this great opportunity. If you're interested, I'd like to talk to you. It's like, great. So I talked to this guy's name's Cliff Wilson. Turns out I could not have paid for a better mentor than Cliff, right? Like he's a past national president of NAFA, the Association for Insurance and Financial Advisors. All things insurance, I owe to Cliff. You know, he really set me up to be successful out of the gate. So started as a captive multi-line agent with American National and did that for, let's see here, 12 years. And then turns out American National got bought by a private equity firm, and they kind of started breaking off bits and pieces. Okay, well, we don't really want to do this anymore. We don't want to do this anymore. And when that happened, I was fortunate that some of my friends had started this agency called Kraken about a year before that. And they were just focused on life and commercial. And my contract opened up where American National said, hey, look, we'll give you, even though you're a captive multi-line agent, we'll give you an exclusion. You can write whatever you want, wherever you want for personal lines. Here's the addendum to your contract. Great. So when that happened, a bunch of my friends were going through the same thing. And the guys at Kraken reached out and said, hey, we'd really like you to come on and be a partner and help us run this thing and maybe help us grow the personal lines division. It's like, great. So we did that. It went from, I think the month that I started was like September of 2024. And at that point, if Kraken paid out $5,000 a month in commission, it was a pretty good month. This past month, we paid out, I think, like $350,000 in commissions to our agents and producers. So we've grown a little bit over the last 18 months.
Yeah.
But the whole thing with Kraken, my role with Kraken really is relationships. It's producer relationships. And that was the thing that was most important to me. There is, unfortunately, in our industry, there are some really great people and there are some really not great people.
As any industry, I'm sure.
It was really important to me that the contract that I set up with Brad it is so open that the producers really could leave at any time they want to. But they don't. They choose to stay because we bring them so much value that there's no reason to go anywhere else, you know? It's kind of how Kraken for me got started. Was just, I had a bunch of friends that had the same set of problems that I did. It's like, oh, I have to make the switch from going from from captive to independent. I need to learn all these systems. I need to figure out how to get carrier access, all of those things. It's like, well, if I'm going to spend the time to figure it out for me, I should just figure it out for the rest of my friends too. And so we brought a whole bunch of agents over and put a bunch of business on the books last year.
Cool. Okay, I'm going to touch on that in a second because your origin story has provided some really helpful insight. Real quick before we move on, you're based in Arizona, correct?
I am. Yep, my office is in Chandler, Arizona.
So how many offices do you have, and are you all located in Arizona? Is it more regional?
Oh, no. Yeah, we're all over the country.
That's what I thought. And you recently had your first event, correct? Where you were, yeah, tell us about that.
We did. Yeah. So we have physical locations for our P&C offices pretty much in every state from Texas up to Oregon. And then we also have, in addition to the P&C side, we also have a life and financial services division. So between the two sides of the house, we're sitting at about 120 producers now. So I want to say it's pretty close to 50-50 between property and casualty agents and life and financial services agents at this point.
Wow. And so this was the first time this year that you got everybody together physically in one place. Is that right?
We did. So first time in the history of the organization. So we had 55 people showed up in Vegas for a day and a half event. We had some folks from Canopy there. We had some other carrier reps that came out that have been great supporters of ours. But yeah, it was really cool. It was all about collaboration, you know. So these agents that are all over the country, they all have the same problems, right? Like I tell people all the time, your problems are not, most of the time, are not truly unique to you. Somebody else is going through something similar, or maybe just a different version of the same thing, right. But it happens. There's only a handful of things that can go wrong, right? Somebody else has already experienced it. They're dealing with it. And so that's one of the cool things about Kraken, but about just my perspective on the industry in general is if I can help you, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you what I think can help, you know, because that collaboration and community is what's missing a lot of times, especially in the independent space. Yep.
That's what that's actually one of the biggest reasons I wanted to have you on the show. Not only do I just enjoy talking to you from when we first met was it In Motion, I believe, right? In DC. Yeah. Yes. Yep. Last October. You and I sat together at a dinner, and you had so many interesting insights, and it was clear from the beginning how involved you are in, like you said, coaching, community building, and industry collaboration. And from your origin story, it kind of sounds like maybe that was instilled in you, right? With your mentor, Cliff. So I can see how you're kind of passing on the torch there.
If your insurance agency staff is still spending hours a day on manual data entry, you aren't just losing time, you're losing money. The modern agency isn't built on paperwork, it's built on automation. Canopy Connect is the industry-leading platform that automates your insurance intake. From personal lines to complex commercial loss run summaries, Canopy Connect pulls verified data from 400 carriers instantly. It integrates seamlessly with the tools you already use like PL Rating or EasyLinks, so your team can focus on what they do best, selling and building relationships. It's time to level up your workflow. Go to usecanopy.com/intake or click the button below and discover why the top performing agencies in the country trust Canopy Connect to power their growth. Faster quotes, better data, more wins. That is Canopy Connect, the complete insurance intake platform.
So when it comes to your, maybe I kind of like look at it as maybe like the power of your like peer learning communities that you have been building, specifically with, is your Facebook group, is it Winning at Insurance? Is that right?
Yeah, so there's a couple. The free one. So I help a good friend of mine, Carson Porter, run this group called Rev Agency Syndicate.
Oh, that's right. Mm-hmm.
And Rev it's an insurance agents mastermind and coaching group, right? So when agents have problems, it's a place to go find a community, essentially, right? And get all those common problems worked out. We also have a free group called Winning at Insurance. That group's got, last I checked, I think there's like almost 7,000 members in that group. And they're from all over North America. We've got a bunch of Canadians in the group now. But most of them from the US. One of the things that makes that group different than a lot of the other insurance Facebook groups is we're pretty strict on the moderation to make sure that we have the right people in and get the wrong people out very quickly. Because with that many people, it could get ugly real quick if you're not paying attention.
And can I just ask you, how does it get ugly? Like, what's the hot gossip there? Like, is it just like an over sense of competitiveness, or what?
What it is our core value with Rev and Winning at Insurance is value without expectation.
Right.
So it's a safe place. Hey, come ask your questions, and I'm going to do my best to either answer it for you or pair you up with somebody that I think is going to be a good fit to get you the answers that you're looking for.
With a sense of generosity. It's not quid pro quo.
Yeah. Which is funny because like I'll go into other Facebook groups and comment on stuff, and I'll offer perfect strangers like, hey, if you want, I'd be more than happy to talk to you about this. I just went through this, or a friend of mine just went through this. If you want, shoot me a message. I'll send you my phone number. We can just jump on the phone and talk for a couple minutes. And I got this response from one of those recently. It was like, this is ridiculous. I just asked a question on the internet, and all people want to do is recruit. It's like, no, I'm not trying to recruit you. Like I'm legitimately, it's like the question that you asked is a surface level question, and nobody's going to be able to give you any kind of real clarity unless they talk to you. It's no different than like all things for me come back to fact finding. Like really it is like when there's a problem, it's like, okay, well, why is there a problem? Let's ask some good questions to figure out what the actual root of the problem is instead of what you think, right? It's the sore thumb theory, right? It's like if you smack your thumb with a hammer, all you're going to think about is how much your thumb hurts, right? But you got those other four fingers that are still working and functioning and doing their thing.
Yep.
Right. So the sore thumb might be like, they feel like the problem is my leads are garbage. It's like, okay, well, that's the sore thumb. That's the thing that brought you to the plate. But the question that you're asking isn't really the right question.
Right.
The question is, hey, how do I better work these leads? Does anybody have a process that they follow to work these to fruition and have had better successes? And until you ask like, hey, well, tell me, I know you're buying leads. You said that, but tell me, what are you doing with them? What's your process look like? Do you have a process? Do you have a fact finder that you run people through? Do you have a commercial that you run people through? And until you ask some of those questions, like you can't really answer with any kind of real weight as to what the problem is and give them an honest, fruitful response. I put together with Carson this training program. It's called Parma, right? It's pension and retirement maximization appointments. So it basically teaches life insurance agents and producers how to do a pension review with a client, right? Somebody that works in the school system or the government or whatever. And teach them how to show them that, hey, you're going to have some pension gap. How are you going to deal with that? Right? So you got somebody that they're making $100,000 working for their local government. They retire on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they have their retirement parties. They wake up on Monday morning And now instead of $100,000, they're making $60,000, right? How are you going to deal with that 40% reduction in income? And there's only a handful of different ways, right? So we go through and do this complete training. But one of the things that we do is we have a lead vendor that, hey, if you want to talk to these people, they'll sell you leads for this kind of thing. But one of the biggest problems is agents go off and they do these appointments and they come back and like, oh, these leads are junk. They don't work. And it's like, they do work, but you got to follow a process. So I spend, I don't know, probably 4 hours a week where I'll watch and listen to other agents' appointments and just give them feedback. Like, hey, so I noticed that you said this, or this, or you didn't say this, or this. And that's why the client asked these questions, you know? And it's just that it's honest feedback. Sometimes it's real direct, you know? But it's the feedback that you need to hear to move your needle forward. And so that's what I try to bring to the table anytime I talk to somebody is, hey, I want to give you honest, earnest feedback on this is what works that you did. Maybe these are the things you need to take a look at if you want to get to where you want to be at.
Yeah. I really appreciate your approach of not treating the symptom, right? But the cause, right? Like with your analogy. And for the most part, I mean, if I were on the receiving end of it, I would be forever grateful. Do you get, I mean, especially like in your communities or whether it's your colleagues, peers, whatever, do you get a positive response like from that sort of help and critique? And most people, do they realize that, yes, this is making me better rather than just needing a quick fix?
Yep, they do. Once they get over the hurdle of being uncomfortable. It's really is a vulnerable thing to go, okay, yes, here is this conversation that I had on a professional, like I'm supposed to be a trained professional. Help.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's not a comfortable thing the first couple times.
Yeah.
But I think that once the people hear the feedback, and my immediate feedback for them is, number one, did you record your interaction? Whether it's audio, a Zoom call, whatever. No. Okay, do me a favor. The next time you do one of these appointments, record it. And then before you send it to anybody, I just want you to watch it. Like you just sit down and it's uncomfortable. You're not going to want it. You're going to realize how many times you said, and you're going to realize how many times you stumbled. Oh, I wish I would have said this. I shouldn't have said that. But just you taking the time to watch you will make you better. Right? And then let me watch it, because now I'm going to come back and go, okay, what did you see? I saw this, this, and this. Like, great. Here are the things that I saw that you didn't mention. Because yeah, I agree with those things that you saw. Here are the other things that you might try, just little adjustments, right? You're not missing this thing by much, but right now it's death by 1,000 cuts. So we just need to make a couple corrections. Try it again. Make a couple more corrections. Try it again.
You sound like such a great teacher. I mean, the people you work with really benefit from you. I have no doubt.
Thanks.
Yeah. So like you mentioned with your communities, whether it's the free like Facebook one, but also I know you said you're also involved in the mastermind. You mentioned that it takes a lot of time and effort for moderation, right? And sort of keeping the group in shape, right? What have been, I guess for anybody listening, if they are interested in either becoming involved or joining something like this, what do you think are like the must-dos in keeping a group like that together and focused or moderating?
Yeah. So the cool thing is it doesn't take a whole lot of time moderating now because we established a culture. And the people in our group help keep eyes out. You know, it's like the neighborhood watch now, right? Everybody knows what the expectations are and knows what our core values are. And so when somebody is functioning outside of those core values, we hear about it like now.
Everybody wants to keep the group better, faster, stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there are some other insurance Facebook groups out there that they are dumpster fires.
Okay.
Is the nicest possible way to put it, you know, because it's a mixed bag of of licensed professionals and consumers in a lot of those groups.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
With our group, it's like 99.9% industry folks. And if they're not, they're in an adjacent industry. For example, like we have a buddy of mine, Orion, is a Legal Shield rep.
Okay.
So he's not in insurance,
Right.
but insurance agents, that is Legal Shield's deployment model to get their product out in front of consumers. So he's in there when agents ask questions about like, hey, I need help with a referral for an attorney for whatever legal document review. He's in there and says, hey, look, you can obviously go reach out to an attorney, or here's how our service works. Check it out. It's reasonable. And again, but he's in there with value without expectation. He's going to answer the problem that they have. And if his product happens to be the answer to the solution when it's all said and done, great. But if not, that's not going to stop him from bringing value to the people that are asking the questions.
Yeah, I can see the connection there. Okay, that's, did someone like him, did he just find you, your group, or did you kind of pull him into the community and be like, oh, this could be beneficial?
He grew up with Carson.
Oh, okay.
They just happened to grow up together and went separate paths. You know, Carson did insurance. Orion ended up, they were both in the auto field. Carson went into insurance and finance, and Orion ended up doing the Legal Shield thing.
Yeah, cool. I love hearing all the success that you're having, but have there been any hard lessons? Whether it's been with your community, like development engagement, your one-on-one sort of like tutoring or mentoring of peers or other agents, like what's been your learning curve? Because you have to try and fail sometimes, right, in order to succeed. So I also want to, speak to that too, because it's not all wins all the time.
Yeah, no, it's not. From the training and mentorship side, I would say the biggest challenge for me is that I can't want it more than the agent wants it that I'm trying to help. I lump a bunch of things called all into one category. It's weight loss, drug addiction, religion, and production all fit into that same category of I can't want it for you bad enough for you to take action on.
Yeah, or to change.
It's got to be something that you want to do. And when you do, that doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but the path is going to be clear. Like, oh, okay, well, I just need to do this, this, and this, right? And so that's my biggest struggle is like, I want to help everybody.
Yeah.
But some people, I want to help them more than they actually want the help.
Mm.
And so knowing when to cut bait on it and go, okay, I can't pour any more time, energy, effort into this person because I'm spending time with this person and these other 15 people who would be receptive and want my help are actually out there waiting. Yeah. So that's been the hardest thing for me.
I can't help you if you won't help yourself, kind of thing.
Yeah. You have to want it at least as bad as I want it for you.
Well, that's valuable. I mean, like you said, you like mentioned those like areas, like that's actually valuable life advice, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's still hard for you to remember that? And it's something that you have to constantly remind yourself, or like now you've been doing it, you can identify the kind of warning signs and hey, this person maybe is not, not there yet, not ready for my help yet.
I identify it. I still struggle with, okay, back away now and let them do their thing. Because I don't want to see anybody fail.
Yeah, no, I know. It sounds like you have an innate desire to help people. Actually, this is just side note. I don't know. Are you into like, I don't know how you continue to develop your skills. I'm a big reader. And I love, learning from other people, whether it's like, like we're doing now in conversation or in peer groups or also like through books. And when I actually, my first career was a teacher, and the book, I'm going to recommend this book to you. It's called What the Best College Teachers Do. And you might just on surface level from the title think, okay, well, I'm not a college teacher, so that maybe doesn't apply to me, but you really are a teacher. I'm hearing you, and you are. And what really struck me about this book is, yes, I read it when I got my first teaching job at a university, but how I've continually used this and referenced this book throughout my professional life and personal life, honestly.
Yeah.
With other relationships, like I have a niece who I'm, trying to kind of show the path, right? My colleagues, my husband, and even now when I'm in a different industry, right? Like my second career here now is marketing. And it's a short book, but it is so insightful. It sounds like you've already naturally and innately picked up on many of the principles. But if you just want a quick book for something to tell you, to reinforce what you're doing is great. Yes, it's that. But also, I think it could also provide maybe some other helpful like tools and ideas, how you can even become even better. So that's just my side note. That's a recommendation. I've recommended that book to so many different people in different industries. It's been fantastic. And I think it might resonate with you.
Awesome. No, those are the kind of books I like, actually, is self-help leadership kind of books. Like I went through, NAFA offers this class called Lily. It's the Life and Leadership Institute. And a part of the class is you have to read a whole slew of books, right? You have to see, it's the 21 Laws of Irrefutable Leadership, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, The Go-Getter, all those types of books. And I love that stuff.
I do too.
I love that stuff.
I could actually, when this is all said and done, I can send you a link of a lot of books that I think have just been really awesome. Do you know, side note, another one? Again, because I'm picking up on your like peer-to-peer training and mentoring. And this is for, I think, everybody who's listening. I know introverted people in your life, and you yourself may be introverted. Again, when I was a teacher, because I am naturally an extroverted person, I incorrectly thought, oh, well, maybe quieter or, more sort of reticent students just need to be pulled out of their shell. Like maybe I should call on them, right? Or like include them in the conversation. Okay, I learned that's the worst thing you can do, right? And so I read this book called Quiet, and it is all about the differences of communication, the differences in learning, the differences in habit, and differences of like working methods between introverted and extroverted people. And I know that, like, also because I read this years ago, I'm more mature now, more experienced. And in many of those mistakes, maybe I wouldn't have made just now through life experience. But that book really fast forwarded it. And it made me realize like how I really made some mistakes and was able to meet the person where they are based on their learning style, their communication style, their work style. So I that's another book that I recommend to literally everybody. If you're interacting with humans, so if you're an agent, a producer, you're interacting with people, right? Like your clients, your prospects. It is such a tool. If you're a manager, obviously it's a great tool. So I don't know. Have you heard of that book or read it?
I've not heard of that one. But it reminds me of, so the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. There's one of those habits, like 6 out of 7, I feel like I got those on lockdown. Piece of cake, not a problem. There's one habit that I really think that just as an entire civilization, if we could figure this one out, we would be a whole lot better for it. And it's the one that I struggle with the most, which is, seek first to understand and then to be understood. Like, we're so quick to tell people what we know, and we're so quick to tell people why they're wrong and why we're right. It's like, man, if you just stop talking for 30 seconds, listen to what the other person's trying to say, and internalize it, and go like, oh, you know what? I didn't think about it that way. I still don't necessarily inherently agree with it, but I understand where you're coming from. Yeah.
No, I totally agree. My husband and I talk about that a lot, like, because he is introverted and I'm extroverted. So if we go to like a dinner party or some social event, we have very different experiences of the event, right? And one of his major, not even just his, mine too, right? I'm a person in an interaction also. It can be frustrating when the person you're talking to is only talking about themselves, right? Their experience, this or that. And I remind him, I'm like, I think it's just because it's easier for us. It's harder, to your point, to stop, listen to the other person, understand. It's so much easier. It requires much less effort from us to dig into our own experience and to just offer that up because it's right on the surface. You can easily do it. And it is harder to slow down and, like you said, listen before just offering up your own. I know it's hard for me too, for sure. But it's really good advice.
Well, I think that's a good lesson for anybody that's in the business too, is that it's a challenge to getting yourself to stop listening with intent to respond versus like actually listening, like really hear what the person's saying, because that's one of the things that I noticed when I watch those videos or listen to recordings of other agents. It's like, you're definitely listening because you got your checklist. Like, I got to go through my stuff, right? And you're listening, trying to get to the next thing that you want to talk to them about, instead of actually listening to what they're telling you. Like, they're telling you what their problems are. They're telling you what they're concerned about. They're telling you all the things you need to know. You just got to listen.
And it's easy to fall into that, right? Because you've maybe heard the same questions a bunch of times from different prospects, different clients. So you might go into the rote response or waiting to talk kind of thing. But like you said, if you actually listen, you'll hear a lot more than you were expecting.
Picture this. You got a hot lead on the phone. They're ready for a quote. But then comes the dreaded question. Can you find your current declarations page and send it to me? Well, suddenly, the momentum stops. They have to go digging to look for it. You have to wait. And that easy quote becomes a chore. It doesn't have to be this way. Canopy Connect turns that 30-minute scavenger hunt into a 10-second digital handshake. Your client just clicks your link, signs into their current carrier, and boom, you have everything you need to provide an accurate, competitive quote. It's bank level secure, SOC 2 compliant, and frankly, it makes you look like a tech savvy genius. Give your prospects the modern experience they expect. Join the thousands of insurance agencies leading the pack with Canopy Connect. Visit usecanopy.com/intake and see the difference for yourself, or just click below to find out. Canopy Connect. Insurance intake simplified.
We're almost at our time, but I just kind of want to round out the interview. I mean, there's a million things you and I could talk about. Like I said, I just love chatting with you. But if we want to kind of round this out with like closing thoughts, do you, Peter, do you want to share any advice or your key takeaways to young agents, mature agents, agencies, and how they can be successful?
Yeah. So the first one is you need to find a mentor as quickly as possible, right? But you also need to understand what a true mentor is, right? If this person that is your mentor asks you to do something that's illegal, immoral, or unethical, you need to run and not look back. Because there are great people in our business. And unfortunately, there's also some not great people. So when your spidey senses start tingling, it's time to just, okay, we're going to find somebody else to help guide me on this path. I went to Cody Askins had a 8% Nation roadshow thing in Scottsdale last month that I went to, and I was talking to this brand new agent. She's about my age, so not new in life, just new to insurance. And some of the things that she was telling me that her mentor was telling her to do was like, oh, please don't do that. Please don't do that. That's not going to end well for you or your clients at all. So find a mentor. And I will say too, that when the student is ready, the mentor will appear. The teacher will appear.
I was going to ask you, I was like, if somebody's listening and they're like, yeah, I want a mentor. Everything you're saying sounds great. How does one find that mentor?
Yeah. Hit me up. I will connect you with whoever is good in your particular industry.
Okay.
That's one of the things that I pride myself on most is connecting good people with other good people.
Yep.
So I'll help you find somebody that's close to you that is actually doing the things that you want to do.
When we post this episode, we will have your information. We will tell people how they can reach out to you, also about your groups. So
yeah, and seriously, don't hesitate to reach out. Like I'm accessible. I'm around.
Clearly. So okay, number one advice: find a mentor, find them soon, and trust your instincts.
When somebody tells you who they are, believe them.
Okay. Yes. Good point. Yeah, they'll show themselves to you.
Myself and the other Kraken partners were meeting with this guy that, real long story short, he wanted to make his way into our business and take over some of the stuff that we did. And it was like, no, this guy doesn't align with our core values. And although he's been well behaved at a dinner, it's like, this is not the way he reacted to certain things. Like, this is not the type of person that I want to do business and life with. So, hey, appreciate you reading out, but we're going to go a different direction, because when somebody shows you, when they react poorly to something, look, everybody has a bad day. I will give that. But when you look at the sum of the experiences that you had with this person, when they're telling you who they are, just listen.
Yeah.
If you get the ick from your mentor
yeah.
or from your upline
right.
or from your general agent, like, yeah, trust your gut. Your gut doesn't lie to you.
No. And it's easy for us to try and talk ourselves out of it when you want something, right? But you're right. Listen to yourself for sure.
One other quick thing is that don't go chasing compensation, because one carrier says, well, we're going to pay you 25%. So you leave one organization and go to another place just because the comp is higher. But you don't sell anything at the other place. Like, what's 100% of 25%? It's zero, right? The two guys, Cliff and Bruce, the two mentors that I had, as a captive multi-line agent, they got overrights on everything that I wrote. Right? That's just how that works. Not a big deal. I would have paid them 10x what they got in overrights, because the time that they spent with me was so valuable, and the amount of information and energy that they poured into me. Again, those guys all came from a standpoint of value without expectation, that, yeah, here, whatever the percentage is, it's worth it. Now the flip side of that brand new baby agent I was telling you about, like, the organization that she was a part of, her mentor, doing joint work with her people, they were going to split those cases 70-30. He was going to get 70% of the compensation. She was going to get 30% of it. I'm not saying, don't be mindful of your compensation.
Right. Of course.
Right. But finding somewhere that's going to pay you a fair compensation based on the work that you're doing, and then that trade-off for, at some point, a mentor is going to need to be compensated for some of their time, some way, shape, or how, but it should be an equitable thing, right? Like, one of my personal core values is that nobody needs to lose for me to win.
Not everyone in the industry shares that mentality.
Yeah.
So if I hear you correctly, your 3 top bits of advice: find a mentor and find them soon, don't go chasing waterfalls. Don't chase the compensation. And am I right? Were those your top 3?
That's exactly it.
And what after hearing everything that you said today, and especially like you summarizing those 3 top tips, what the through line I'm kind of hearing from you is patience. And patience and sort of like finding balance can really go a long way, it sounds like, in lots of different areas of your profession.
Yep, absolutely.
Maybe I should title this episode "Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls." What do you think?
Perfect. You know how long I thought they were saying Jason Waterfalls? It's like, I don't know who this
Don't
Jason
go
Waterfalls
Jason
guy is.
Waterfalls. Yeah. How funny.
Stick to the rivers and lakes that you used to. Okay, well, Jason's not really good at swimming in current. Okay.
He needs the floaties. That is so funny. I've never heard that. Okay. I like that. Well, thank you so much, Peter. As always, I really enjoy our conversations, and I have no doubt that our listeners are going to enjoy this as well and have a lot of really valuable takeaways. Without further ado, this concludes today's episode. So thank you, everybody, for listening, and stay tuned for our next episode.
Collecting insurance information sucks for everybody. Long forms and even longer phone calls are frustrating for prospects. And still, you're left wondering if what they told you was accurate. Now, there's Canopy Connect. Simply send your prospect a link, they select a carrier, and sign in. That's it. In seconds, you'll get deck pages, policy information, claims history, and much more. Canopy Connect, the insurance data intake platform.